Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching Daybreak on Trust TV. We'll be starting our newspaper analysis, our newspaper review with our national dailies. First off, we have a Daily Trust. Right in front, on the front page, boldly written, we have family loses 12 members over 50 Almajiri missing. That is in Niger State. That is quite devastating. That is on pages 3 and 4 of Daily Trust newspaper. Next up, we have Daily Independent. Right in front, we have poultry farmers face mounting losses as demand plummets. On the top left of the newspaper, that is Daily Independent, we have CD Ulta elected to succeed Adesina as AFDB president, and Tinubu congratulates CD Ulta. And on the top right, we have Tinubu's addiction to loans reckless and dangerous, says Atiku. Down below, we have Igadolo rejects appeal court judgment and heads to Supreme Court. That is on page 6 of Daily Independent. On the bottom, we have stakeholders warn against politicizing forest guards, which is on page 7 on Daily Independent. You have flood claims 21 persons and washes away 50 houses in Niger. That's also on page 7 of Daily Independent. Fobara asks Rivers people to thank Tinubu for intervening in state crisis. We have Constitution Review reps to interface with governors and state assemblies and others. On the bottom, we have deepening the credit squeeze may weigh on Nigeria's economic recovery. And lastly, we have Tinubu establishes credit guarantee, COI names Dogara chairman. That is on page 6 of the Daily Independent. Grab yourself a copy and stay informed. Next up, we have TheGuardian newspaper. Right in front, on the front page, we have Ohanaeze and others fault Tinubu's scorecard as APC blames past leaders. That is on page 6 of TheGuardian newspaper. Up top, we have Atiku, AFDB, PRP, flag federal government's loan plan despite impressive IGR returns. And we have a man decries over 8,000 job cuts in hostile environment. You have Amnesty International says gunmen killed 10,217 persons in 7 states. That is on the Guardian newspaper. Make sure you grab yourself a copy and stay informed. All right, we'll start with Daily Trust newspaper, but then I'd like to welcome our guest today to review the national dailies. We have Nuruddin Abdullah, who is the editor of the 21st Century Chronicles. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. For today's Daily Trust newspaper, right in front, we have family loses 12 members and over 50 Almajiri missing in the Niger flood. We've been having torrential rains all over the country, and there have been a lot of losses. What is your take on that?
You know, it's unfortunate that we're still counting numbers, particularly in this what I can call avoidable tragedies. This is coming less than 3 weeks after about 40 perished. The same axis. I think the same Mokwa area, traders moving from one village to the other to attend the local market. I think in Kwara State, on their way back,
yes,
about 40 perished. There were statements by the government houses in both Niger and Kwara State, Niwa, federal government is responsible for manning those rivers, rescue agencies, NEMA, SEMA, and what have you. But that's it. We have moved on until another tragedy unfolds, and that's what we are witnessing today. About 50 other souls, innocent souls, are missing. We don't have any modern, just not sophisticated, modern even rescue mechanisms or even hardware. If you read the story, they say that they have deployed local divers. So you understand, you see, these tragedies have become recurring this summer, particularly when the rainy season comes in. In Niger State, in Kwara State, in Benue,
In Jigawa
in
State.
Jigawa, in Sokoto, in Kebbi. So we have folded our arms waiting for these tragedies, avoidable tragedies to unfold. But come to think of it, what does it take? First and foremost, this shouldn't be a federal government. It should be a state government in collaboration with the local government. All these are riverine communities. In Sokoto, there was a time some people, to even fetch firewood, they have to cross a river. What does it take to have a sort, I'm not saying a vessel out of you, but a safe canoe that people can be using to cross to their farms and what have you. But like I said, we're just waiting for tragedy to then we'll lament and moved on
what is going on, instead of placing measures that would help
exactly
curb that.
overcrowding is there. You should have local authorities to ensure that this thing doesn't happen. Like maybe they are doing in some insecurity infested areas. Part of the measures some governors take is if in this house, for instance, we have learned that kidnappers kidnapped some people and they kept them there, or the house belongs to them, it is demolished. Maybe in these river areas, the government must engage the local communities, the traditional rulers in particular. Whoever allows so part of an overcrowding of those tattered canoes, the man should be dethroned. Maybe by that time, we see governors dethroning local village chiefs, even first class, second class traditional rulers, for harboring insecurity and what have you. Maybe we should adopt that so that people should have that. This is human lives.
Yes, but then I'm very curious about one thing, especially when it comes to these riverine areas that you would need to transport yourself from one place to the other, across a river, across, some body of water. Do you believe that the government should come in place whereby they provide, just like they provide buses and, other public transportation, they should provide something that would be safe for people to use when it comes to crossing those bodies of water?
Exactly. Take Niger State. How much do you think how much does the state government require, for instance, to acquire, let's say, 100 of such? I'm not saying more than, but they should be safe. And to ensure that there is no overcrowding, to ensure that they are maintained. You can even do PPP. Allow private individuals. It's a money-making business, it's transportation.
Absolutely.
Put the relevant laws there. Ensure that these laws are being upheld by all and sundry. They can still make money from it. How many of these states do we have? But we have newer, they have reduced themselves to lamentation, taking some 5 kg bags of rice to the bereaved families, and that's all. They will go back, fold their arms, wait till the next tragedy.
All right.
This is tragic, actually.
All right. There's one thing that caught my attention on the Guardian newspaper. It says Ohanaeze and others fault Tinubu's scorecard as APC blames past leaders, with yesterday being the 2 years anniversary of his administration. What's your take on this, them blaming past leaders?
So, it's unfortunate, actually, that President Tinubu himself or his administration will be blaming the. When Obasanjo came in 1999, all the rot he made, all his underperformance and what have you, particularly, this these governance measures, particularly we calendar them, 100 days, 6 months, what have you. He blamed decades of military dictatorship. When Yar'Adua came, he blamed Obasanjo's.
So do you believe it's a trend that we have with our leaders blaming previous, past leaders, previous administrations?
Exactly. When Buhari took over from Jonathan, he spent 2 years. Tinubu has even tried. He was saying that he has not been properly handed over to. For 2 years, that was what Buhari was saying. You understand? And he inherited an empty treasury or what if you. At least the present crop of leaders are not saying that it was an empty treasury. But seriously, they should be more serious. And all this boils down to our leadership recruitment process. Are we recruiting the right leaders? You become something when you have a godfather, when you have money, not the policies that you want. And even the electorate, they don't even know what they want. If you are elected as a lawmaker, for instance, your principal business is lawmaking for the overall well-being of the country. Try that. Nobody, you won't get re-elected. You have to buy motorcycles. You have to buy wrappers. You have to buy sewing machines. You have to be going from one ministry or other, bribing government officials to scare jobs. So you look at that trend. Even the electorate seems that they don't even know what they want. So there should be enough civic education, particularly by the NGOs, by the traditional institutions, by even religious leaders. Know what you want. That's why, we are saying pardon. There must be pardon in the National Assembly. Because I have to do projects. If not, nothing for me. I go home now, for instance. The entire neighborhood will be populated. The Honorable is here. You have to be giving money. You have to buy bicycles, motorcycles, now even cars. So why don't you have 7 trillion pardon of the budget?
Well, aside from that, we've been hearing the buzz on, the loans that the president is waiting for to be approved. And here on Daily Independent, Atiku says Tinubu's addiction to loans is reckless and dangerous. So what would you say about that?
Okay. Loans on their own are not bad. The richest country with over 30 trillion GDP, the United States, is the most indebted, followed by China, the strongest economy in the world. What do you do with these loans? My only problem is, unfortunately, the president has equally been starting to win the part of his predecessor. You borrow from the Bretton Woods, IMF, World Bank, and what have you, and you keep on sharing. During Buhari's time, we see a Professor Osibanjo, moving from one local market to the other, sharing money. Is it trader money, or mama money, or keeping money? That is bad. It is not bad to borrow and build infrastructure. Like these roads they are doing. I follow the Nasarawa, Abuja, Nasarawa. Fantastic. You need to toll it so that you recover the money. 2 things. You are recovering your money and the road is being maintained. That's what all these loans are. But when you bring loans and you give it to the humanitarian agency and people will start collecting it and what have you.
It is not revenue generating.
No, exactly. You get loans and build critical infrastructure. Like this 15 trillion loan they are doing. What have you? Good business, particularly if they do their due analysis, due diligence well. Okay, we are going to recoup our money in so yes. So you have to bring a private sector person to man the road and toll it. Look at the Ekpe-Lekki road. People are enjoying the road and they are paying for it. But if you allow it just like that, some more will, because they are angry with their councillors, they will block the road, burn bonfires, and the road will start deteriorating with no consequence. So loans, I only have problem with loans when you bring loans and you increase teacher salary, you increase worker salary. Workers that are not doing anything, workers that don't have a schedule. That's a problem. But when you bring loans, attach them, look at our rail sector. Open more corridors. You spend less on the road, less Nigerians will die. Nigerians, the middle-aged Nigerians, the working class, are the one dying on our terrible roads. But when you have modern railway infrastructure, for instance, you reduce the accident rate. So your expenditure on even health will be drastically reduced. So it has triple effects. But I am not an advocate of getting loans and be sharing it. You become, what do you call it, a sort of a charity like, what you know. We have critical sectors that will, like the NEL fund they are doing, it's a very good development at least. You know you are not giving this loan to, this money to somebody that will go and add additional wife.
And then it will be paid back as well.
Of course,
because the
at least,
yes.
You know, it. And you know why it is important? It's just like people, some state government are not paying WAEC for all. No. In the past, you have to pass mock to even register for WAEC. So, you know, this NEL fund is only for students who got admission. So they are in the system. You are not giving somebody that loan, so they'll just add additional wife or buy form.
Yes.
Or what if you
All right. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. And thank you very much. That was Nuruddin Abdullah with the analysis. It was great. It was amazing. And thank you for being with us as always. I am Hawa Ademikiawa. Make sure you catch up with us tomorrow at the same time for Daybreak Extra. As always, have a great day.